Hi, my name is RJ Simpson, and this is my movement analysis 2, the full body movement. I'm going to do an analysis of pitching. I picked this because it's something that I've dealt with before. I played baseball all throughout grade school. Um, I wasn't the best pitcher. I'm short, so obviously I didn't get to pitch too often, but that's okay. So the purpose of this movement is maximal velocity with accuracy. If you can't be accurate, you're obviously not going to be a go-to pitcher. Also, this is going to be a casual analysis. It'll be more like if I was coaching my kids, how I would talk to them about pitching. The classification, again, maximal effort, high power. I'm moving myself and an object, and it's a simultaneous movement looking for power. When you're pitching, it has to be fluent. There can't be a lot of nicks and hooks in your flow through the pitching motion. So I've broken this up into 5 steps. There's weight shift back, leg lift, stride and separate, rotation, and follow through. So step 1, weight shift back. This is an easy step. I'm going to play the video for you. It's from the stride. When I pick up my front leg, I'm putting it back, and I'm putting all of my weight on my back leg. I have a little bit of knee flexion, using my biceps femoris, semimembranosus, and semitendinosus. You need that knee flexion in there to give you the power to push off down further in the steps. Having that knee flexion again will give you a lot more power and velocity, and get your momentum pushing forward. Next, you are going to have your leg lift. This is that step where I'm kicking my leg back, lifting my knee, and you want it behind the rubber slightly. This gives you more hip and shoulder separation. That'll give you a little more velocity as well. So here, obviously, you have the knee flexion with using your biceps femoris, semimembranosus, and semitendinosus again, and then that hip internal rotation. You're using your glutes and your tensor fasciae latae. Like I said, a crucial step here. It doesn't really matter. The height doesn't matter, but getting your knee behind the rubber slightly, and getting your hips turned already, almost to where your butt's facing the plate, is going to give you a little more power in your next stride and separation stage of pitching. So from this stage, I have my knee up. This is the leg lift. We're going to go into the stride and separation. This is probably one of the most crucial steps, because if you're not balanced here, you're going to be thrown off and throw a ball. So I have my hip is internally rotated here. I'm going to start to externally rotate. I'm going to have the knee flexion all the way to the ground. My shoulder is going to be internally rotated, so I'm going to be using my scapularis. When I land, I'll be at plantar flexion, and you want to make sure that it's pointing towards the plate. They always tell you, wherever your foot's pointed is more than likely where the ball's going to go, just as for a good judge of eye. And then in the separation stage, you want to show the ball back, call it like snake eyes, and you're going to have, using your biceps brachii, you're going to supinate your hand to show the ball back. And then a lot of the load that is coming from this to push the ball forward is going to be loaded in your scapula. Um, a lot of pitchers get tight right there. That's why you see them doing a lot of the bands after pitching to work their subscapula and their rotator cuff, obviously. So I'm gonna play a little bit of the video. See if I can get this to go a little slower. So from here, see my knees up. I have my hip internally rotated, going to external. My shoulder rotation. Arm separating. And then the biceps brachii. You can kind of see my arm supinate. It's a little hard to see here. Have the ball showing backwards. So at this point, the stride and separation and the rotation stage kind of intermix. Like I said before, this has to be fluent motion, so it's kind of hard to see a definite cutoff of where one stops and one begins. So here you can kind of see my hips straighten out or close, but I still have my shoulders separated. My front foot, I don't have the best stance, so it's not pointing to the plate right now, but a little down the road it'll rotate and go more towards the plate right there. You always have the knee flexion when pitching. You never want to be straight-legged. You can see my back leg. You still have that knee flexion helping me push off right there to come forward. And here for my shoulder or rotator cuff, I have all the external rotators, the supraspinatus and infraspinatus, and then the teres minor. And here, with my shoulders coming forward, it's closing the shoulder and hip separation. And then this is coming to the follow-through stage. See here, I have my chest up. With that rotation part, you're also using a lot of your core muscles. So you're going to be using a lot of your core, being your rectus abdominals, and some of the internal and external abdominal obliques. With any movement or motion, your core is always going to be engaged. The core is connected to everything, so it's always going to play a role. So for the final stage being the follow through, which is that leg kick coming out. Right there, the leg kick. You do this because you never want to abruptly stop a movement, so it has to follow through or your power is going to dissipate. So from here, my shoulders are going forward. Like I said, you always keep your momentum pushing forward to keep the power and velocity there. The back leg is swinging over. And then the arm is going to pronate, coming back forward right there. This gets me in the right position to put spin on the ball, using my wrist to using my wrist extension and flexion to add the extra spin on the ball. This will help it go in a more true flight pattern, as well as like if you're throwing a curveball or a knuckleball to play with the ball with however you need to turn your wrist or whatever to make it have the flight pattern that you want it to. So like I said, this is all a very fluent motion. You can't have nicks in it or it won't be good for your pitching. It shouldn't have any clear starting or stopping points from here. Once you become set, it should all be a fluent motion. So yeah, that's my motor analysis for how to pitch a ball. Like I said, this is kind of more of a way I would explain it to a kid if I was coaching them in high school to help them critique. Like I said, the important things are having that knee slightly back behind the rubber to get your hips activated in the motion, so you can have that more separation, and then also the rotation coming through. So we have right here separation with your hips and shoulders. You have the separations with your hips and shoulders. Sorry, I'm thinking through this. That separation is going to give you the kind of the whip through with your upper body. A lot of pitching is lower, that is followed by upper. So now that I'm fully loaded, I have majority of the power out of my legs. My shoulders are going to straighten up and bring that power through. It's kind of normally go from top to bottom, but here it almost goes from your hips up to your shoulders. So here I'm widening those shoulders, pushing my chest forward and bringing it all forward so that all the momentum's coming towards the plate. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.